Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight, we're going to drift through one of the heaviest, darkest corners of human history. So dim the lights, get comfortable, maybe grab a blanket. This isn't a story for excitement. It's one for quiet reflection. We're talking about the Holocaust, sometimes called the Shoah. It's one of those topics where even the word itself carries weight. It's been written about endlessly, filmed, analyzed, memorialized, and yet somehow it still feels unreal that humans did this to other humans. But before we sink too deep, let's start slowly. Let's float backward in time to a Europe that thought it was civilized. Europe before the storm. It's the 1920s. The Great War, what people would later call World War I, has just ended. Europe is bruised, humiliated, exhausted. Germany, in particular, is having what we could call a national identity crisis. They've lost the war. They've lost land. And under the Treaty of Versailles, they've lost dignity. The country's economy collapses faster than a bad soufflé. People wheelbarrow money just to buy bread. It's the sort of chaos where conspiracy theories start to sound like comfort food. Because when life makes no sense, people start looking for someone to blame. Enter anti-Semitism. Old, bitter, ancient. It's not new. It's been baked into European history for centuries. But in Germany's fragile new democracy, it finds new fuel. Now, let's meet a man who took that hatred and turned it into a national religion. A man named Adolf. Adolf Hitler, born in Austria, failed art student, war veteran, and future dictator. It's easy to say he was evil, and yes, he was. But he was also a product of his time, a time when nationalism was intoxicating and humiliation was unbearable.
He joins a small, angry political party, the German Workers' Party, which soon becomes the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party. Catchy branding, unfortunately. Hitler isn't charming in the Hollywood sense. He's awkward, obsessive, often ranting. But in the right crowd, a desperate crowd, he sounds like salvation. He tells Germans they've been betrayed, that a hidden cabal, the Jews, communists, foreigners, have stabbed the nation in the back. And people believe him, because of course they do. When everything falls apart, the loudest voice usually wins. By the early 1930s, the Nazi Party grows like a virus in a petri dish. Democracy falters, fear grows. And then, 1933, Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany. Legally, through an election, democracy voted itself out of existence. The machinery of hate. Within weeks, the Nazis begin reshaping Germany. The press is silenced. Political opponents vanish. And one of the first laws? The exclusion of Jews from public service. It starts small, on paper, but like all things bureaucratic and cruel, it scales efficiently. Jewish doctors can't treat non-Jewish patients. Jewish lawyers can't represent clients. Jewish teachers are dismissed. Then, Jewish people can't marry Aryans. Then, they can't go to certain schools. Then, they can't even sit on certain benches. It's like watching a frog slowly boil, 1 degree at a time. Most Germans didn't even notice the pot getting hotter. Or they did and pretended not to. Let's float now to 1935. The Nuremberg laws are passed, codifying racial hierarchy. You're either Aryan or not. It's pseudoscience meets statecraft. And it gives the Nazis exactly what they wanted: legal permission to dehumanize. The propaganda machine. If you control the story, you control the world. The Nazis knew this better than anyone.
Enter Joseph Goebbels, Minister of Propaganda. He turned lies into art. Newspapers, films, posters, all whispering the same message: the Jews are not people like you. In classrooms, children were taught racial science. In movies, Jews were depicted as monstrous caricatures. On the radio, the Führer's voice became a lullaby of hate. And slowly, Germany fell asleep under the spell. The first flames. Then came 1938. November. A cold night. Kristallnacht. The night of broken glass. All across Germany and Austria, Jewish shops were smashed, synagogues burned, families arrested. It was called spontaneous public outrage. It wasn't. It was coordinated, a state-approved pogrom. Thousands of Jewish men were taken to concentration camps for the first time. At that stage, they weren't death camps, yet. They were labor camps. But the blueprint had been drawn, and the world watched. Newspapers reported it. Diplomats complained, but there was no intervention, no rescue. No one stopped the slide. War begins. Germany invades Poland. Britain and France declare war, and World War II begins. Within weeks, Poland is crushed under the German blitzkrieg, lightning war. Fast, brutal, efficient. But behind the military front, something darker follows. Units called the Einsatzgruppen, mobile killing squads. Their job? To cleanse newly occupied areas of undesirables. They went village to village, rounding up Jews, Roma, intellectuals, and shooting them. Mass graves filled. And still, most people didn't know, or didn't want to. The war gave the Nazis cover, and under that cover, genocide evolved from idea to industry. The ghetto system. As Germany conquered more territory, millions of Jews came under Nazi control, but the Jewish problem, as they called it, needed organization. The solution? Segregation. Entire city districts, walled off, guarded, starved. The Warsaw Ghetto, the largest, held over 400,000 people in a space designed for 50,000. Disease ran rampant. Food was scarce. Children smuggled bread through cracks in the walls, risking death for crumbs. Inside, people still tried to live. They ran secret schools, concerts, even newspapers, because even in horror, humanity doesn't just stop. The final solution. By 1941, the Nazis had taken half of Europe, but the war wasn't enough. They wanted total annihilation. High-ranking officials met in a quiet lakeside villa near Berlin, the Wannsee Conference. There, with pen and paper and polite conversation, they planned the final solution to the Jewish question. It sounds bureaucratic, intentionally so, but it meant one thing: systematic, industrial mass murder. The killing would be moved from fields and bullets to camps and gas chambers, cold, efficient, modern. The camps began. The first camps, like Dachau and Sachsenhausen, had existed since 1933 for political prisoners, but now new ones emerged: Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, Belzec, names that would become synonyms for death. Trains crisscrossed Europe, filled with families told they were being resettled. They carried luggage, documents, even musical instruments. Many believed they were going to work. But as soon as the doors opened, reality hit. Guards, dogs, smoke, the smell of ash. Families were separated instantly. Men one way, women and children another. Doctors like Josef Mengele stood at the ramp, deciding life or death with a flick of the wrist. Some to labor, most to gas chambers. The process was mechanical. Clothes removed, hair cut, belongings catalogued. Then, gas. It took 20 minutes. And afterward, workers, often other prisoners, were forced to burn the bodies. No graves, just smoke.
Believe the Allied powers, Britain, America, the Soviet Union, condemned Nazi crimes in speeches, but their focus remained on the battlefield. The genocide continued, mostly unseen. Even within Germany, many didn't know, or said they didn't. The camps were in remote areas, guarded by silence and fear. It was a national hypnosis, collective denial wrapped in obedience. And so, as we drift here at the edge of darkness, the machine of death is now fully in motion. Factories of killing hum quietly across Europe. Millions are gone, and millions more are still being hunted. In our next part, we'll move deeper into the personal stories, the resistance, the survivors, and the long shadow that never really left Europe. But for now, let's rest here, in this quiet place between horror and history, because understanding this darkness isn't about staring into it forever. It's about remembering it existed, so it doesn't again. Good night, and I'll see you in part 2.